Let's take a moment and talk about another way that you can measure Batman's skill. Because, see, when we measure a character, we look at their feats, their statements, and how well they do in a fight, the victories that they obtain. And when it comes down to martial arts and fighting, there is no character that has better feats, statements, showings, and victories than the Dark Knight. However, there's actually another way that you can measure Batman's skill, and that's with the plot. And I'm not talking about plot armor. No, I'm talking about the story. Because while Batman has multiple statements, actually the best statements of being a master of all martial arts, a masterful fighter, a master of all forms of combat, or the world's greatest combatant, we can actually measure by how Batman was taught, by the people that have taught him these skills. So today we're going to look at some, not all, of the masters, teachers, and peers that Batman has learned from. And we're also going to include things outside of just martial arts. So let's just get down to it. As we see in DC Secret Origins, Batman meets and trains with Master Kuragi. As Batman is a master of all forms of martial arts, Master Kuragi is actually one of the biggest influences on him in that regard, and one of the masters that Batman spent the most amount of time with. Master Kuragi shows up again in the Knight issue number 4, in which this is reinforced, that he is a master of all manner of fighting styles across the globe. That knowledge was in his outstretched hand. I just needed to grab. We both did. Of course, that being a reference to Ghostmaker also. In Robin, issue number 31, we find out that Batman was trained at an early age by Wildcat, the world's greatest boxer. This is reinforced in 52-23, where we find out from Wildcat's origin backup story that Wildcat has trained many heroes in the sweet science of boxing. Those heroes include Batman, Black Canary, Catwoman, and Superman. In Batman, issue 509, after getting his back broken by Bane, Batman went to Lady Shiva to retrain his body and his mind. Shiva taught him many things, as well as body language or anticipation techniques, as well as her deadly leopard blow. In Batman, Legend of the Dark Knight, issue number 52, as well as Batman, Legend of the Dark Knights, issue number 53, we find out from Batman's past that he learned the light side and dark side of Taoism. The light side he learned from Shao La, as depicted in issue 52. And in 53, we find out that he learns the dark side. Remind me, I'm going to butcher this name, Hashiyan Ten. The Tao style, whether it be light or dark, is a mystical form of martial arts. In Detective Comics, issue number 599, we find out that Batman learns from Master Assassin of the Yakuza, Tsukamoto, many things. The foundations being reaction, anticipation, and stillness. He taught Batman how to enter into his opponent's mind within less than an instant and learn what they know, become them. He also taught Batman's body on how to quickly stop bleeding whenever wounded. We find from the same issue, we find out that Batman learned from another master, Chun Chin Li, if I pronounce that correctly, who taught Batman many forms of martial arts, although we don't learn what those are, as well as other mystical aspects of martial art. Granted, not a lot of detail is put in, but he did spend some time with them and learned a lot. In Batman the Knight, issue number 2, we find out that Batman trains with Lucia the Grey Fox. Grey Fox at the time was the world's greatest thief, something apparently Bruce has a soft spot for. She taught him breaking and entering, stealth, infiltration, prep and planning, as well as lockpicking and various other thieving techniques. And maybe a couple other things that, well, we'll just leave right there. In Detective Comics issue 600, we meet one of the biggest influences on Bruce's life, Henry Ducard, who teaches Bruce on how to be a manhunter. The two worked very closely with each other, Bruce learning a lot from Henry. However, he disapproved of his willingness to kill and left him shortly afterwards. In Richard Dragon, issue number 7, we find out that Bruce regularly spars with Richard Dragon, one of the top-tier martial artists in DC. Also find out that Batman's not the only one. People like The Question, Catwoman, and Nightwing also train with him. In JLA, issue number 61, we see that Batman regularly trains with Wonder Woman, learning techniques and skills from her. This is also reinforced in JLA Secret Files and Origins, number 3. that once again, Batman and Wonder Woman regularly and intimately train with each other. In Batman the Knight, issue number 6, we find out that Batman learns archery from master archer Jungo Luca, who teaches Batman on how to be a master marksman. But that's not all. In Green Arrow, issue number 134, we find out that Batman was trained by the world's greatest archer himself, Oliver Queen, the Green Arrow. In Shadow the Bat, issue number 0, in this issue, we see Batman reminiscing of many people that he's learned martial arts from, whether it be karate, jiu-jitsu, judo, savant, the Tao, which we've already talked about, among many other styles, and how he's become fluid with those styles, making them into his own, something uniquely his own. In Batman the Knight, issue number 7, we find out that Batman learns his escape artistry from Zatanna's father, Zatara. This is reinforced in Detective Comics issue 833, where once again it is mentioned, in the past, at an early age, Batman would learn escape artistry from Zatara. Learned from Detective Comics issue number 0. Batman was trained by Master Shihan Matsuda, again, probably butchered that name, about how to truly have wholeness and control over one's body, as well as ki or chi. Detective Comics issue number 734, we found out at an early age that Batman was trained by Master Assassin David Kane, the father of Cassandra Cain. In Batman Chronicles issue number 6, he learned that Batman, under an assumed name, learned from Dan Mallory the art of detective work and what it means to be a detective or a private eye. In Batman Shadow the Bat issue number 0, we found before becoming Batman that Batman flirted with the idea of being the FBI, an idea that he eventually dropped. However, he got perfect scores on everything except for gun handling, which means Batman has basic FBI training. And let's wrap things up with a change in addition to Batman's history. In Batman the Knight issue number 9, we find out before ever meeting him as Batman, Bruce Wayne was actually trained by Ra's al Ghul. He was trained in many of the unknown, ancient skills and techniques, not only in martial arts, but many other things. And as we know, Ra's al Ghul is well over several thousand years old, and imparting that knowledge onto the Batman. Like I said, that's just some of the people that have trained Batman. There's several more that we don't know about or we just haven't learned about yet. But what's important about this video is anyone can have a statement about being a master martial artist, but Batman actually has the resume and the feats, the skills, the showings, and the people that he's learned from.